Hi, good people. Let me take this time to welcome you to my show. Today, we are going to talk about another important issue, and I've spoken to you before about development, and there is a statement I made sometimes back that these developed countries have developed not because of focusing on areas such as agriculture, but focusing on areas such as industrialization and commerce. So today we are going to talk about a subject that closely links to industrialization, commerce, and trade. And so the topic of discussion today is entrepreneurship, a youth perspective from the construction industry. I know construction industry is a field that has not gained much traction. People are not talking about it so much, but as we know, construction is almost the backbone of industrialization. So before we continue, I'll give our guest some minutes to introduce himself, and then we get rolling. Welcome to the show.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. Yeah, my name is JosephOtwoko. I'm a director at Jawabu Construction International, a startup construction company. We are dealing with the residential building and commercial building. Thank you.
Interesting. So if you are a person who has interest in construction, or maybe you have not been thinking about it, this might be a trigger for you to start thinking about construction. So Joseph, welcome to the show. And kindly, could you tell us your journey in the construction industry? Like, what triggered you to venture into construction industry?
Yes, we have been in construction industry from 2017 as a registered company. But before that, used to work in construction industry since 2012. So we have an estimate of 11 years in construction industry. So what triggered us to really begin construction industry is that working within the construction industry, there is something that was consistent, and that was the yearn of the developers to have professionals doing their work, but they could not meet the criteria that's needed in terms of the cost, because to really have a contractor on your construction project is quite expensive. So we saw that gap and we said, my friend and I, that probably that is the area that we need to get in and try to help these people have their dreams. Because it's one thing to get a commercial loan, which is really, really expensive. Then you get a structure that is not your actual desire because of a cost. So we found that as a gap, and we say that now I think it's time for us to venture and do something different in construction industry.
Okay. Do you have a background in construction, or wait, the people who do the construction, these are which engineers are these?
We
Kind
have,
of engineers are these?
we have architectural, we have a structural engineer, and you have also a quantity surveyor. Those are basically the key figures in running a construction company.
Okay. Do you have a background in either of these?
No, I don't have a background in either of them.
And how did you hack coming up with a company? Like, is it possible that I don't have a background in such a field and then I come up with a company and venture into construction?
I think with life and as anything else, I believe partnership is key, because you don't always have the strength in each and everything. So personally, I have strength in operation and execution. So that is what I bring in the table, and I have a partner who brings on the table the technical. He's actually a quantity surveyor by profession. So those two matrix was able to make us a great team in construction industry.
So tell us how this works. Like, if you want to register a company that deals with construction, you must have someone who has a background in this field, right?
Yes. First of all, to register a construction company in our context, especially Kenya, one thing that is that you first have to register a company. okay, the normal company,
The
from the
normal
register
company.
of the company. Then we have an organization called National Construction Authority. That is where the contractors now go. So the requirement for a construction company is is being set at the National Construction Authority, and that demands that your company must be limited liability company, and that means it has to have more than one director. Okay, so that gives us room for partnership. So it has been designed in a way that to run a construction company, you need a team.
So it's not just one person saying this is my company. You must partner with someone. And is it a hectic process to get these companies registered?
Yes, it's a bit of process. Okay, I think in our context we expect that, but you see, you really have to go. It's like you're doing the same thing twice, and that is what many contractors or many people are questioning. Why should I register a company normally? Okay,
Then again go to...
and someone else is register just normally. He goes and open a shop. It doesn't bring our hotel or whatever. It doesn't. But for me, I've registered twice, so it looks like double registration. But we think the intention of it is good, because they need to separate those people who are professionals or who mean business. Because if you just make it
the lazy ones will stop at first step.
Definitely.
Oh, that is yes. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Now, as a constructor or as a startup company, has everything been smooth, or you have faced some hurdles that have interfered with the smooth operation of your company? So
yes, as a startup, challenges are enormous. Okay, and that's why entrepreneurship becomes a hard business to most people, because the ability to get returns, okay, is not as you begin, it's as you progress. So for us, I think, as you said, the way the first of all, we have a challenge whereby people used to build just using a mason. Okay, so for you to go as say have a construction company, it's wondering what's the difference between me and a mason. So there's a perspective issue from those who really are your prospective customers, because of the way system was set. And also another challenge, I say, is it's a policy issue that we are experiencing, because as you are aware, as a startup, the biggest consumer, okay, our biggest clientele in construction mostly is government, which have these huge projects. But for a starter, it has a high barrier of entry, because of the way the tenders are being set up. So you need a lot of finance to get the tenders, and then when you get the tenders, the payment is not timely. So as a startup, you have a great cash flow challenges. So for us, we tried the tendering, but we said this is not a field we want to go in, because you realize you put in more cost, but you're not seeing the return as you expected.
Yes. So who are your clientele?
Our clientele are first-time homeowners, because they meet the profile, okay, of the kind of the person we are looking for. Because one, this person needs a professional touch, okay, to his work, to his building, and also this person who has a low budget in construction. So our model ensures that we are able to meet these clients at his needs and give him the quality and excellent services that he needs.
And how do you get them?
The clients, as any business, when you begin, marketing is one of the ways, but unless you are a tech company, you rely on referral system. So once you do all your best to get the first work, then what you have to do is to do it so well that you have other people coming and ask who did this. Then the point, then you're able to say, okay, this other person is the person. So our first even client, the way we got a client is my partner was doing a bill of quantities, okay? For he had been referred by a friend to bill quantities because that's his profession. Then he made this client say, you know what, I'm getting loan, but the cost of an ideal contractor, okay, is quite expensive. So can we have a model which works with that. And since we were started, we were ready to embrace the dynamic that comes with such a client. So we are able to do a very good project for him, a Baraka One Place apartment in Embu. And from that is when we have got other clients from that project. So yes, we have done a bit of marketing, but mostly it's a blessing that came with doing a good work in the beginning. Yes.
So from your talk, it sounds like we have a small number of these. You talked about government tenders,
Yes.
which you have a barrier in getting through, so you opted for the private homeowners. So it seems like we have a specific number of people who can have access to these government tenders or these big tenders. Am I correct?
You're very correct.
So that now poses a challenge to the young guys or young turks who are graduating from the university, the quantity surveyors, the engineers, who come out hoping that the skills we have gotten from the university are going to be used in this industry, at least to develop their countries. But in the end, see, we already have people who have gotten hold of this. So what happens to the young skilled graduates or young skilled turks coming from the universities and colleges?
I think the role of education in construction is very critical. But the way policies is being framed is to make hard for these people to make a contribution significantly. I know it is easier to complain the way we say, our graduates, okay, they do not match, okay, in terms of the marketplace. But let me give you a good and ideal example. For me to build in a building, I need those people. I need a QS, I need a structural engineer, I need an architect. Those are the key people we need. But now, the other place that must ensure I need those people, which is the government, does not make it mandatory for me to need them. So why will this guy get employment? Yeah? Because this person, if the only time the government is interested, okay, in these people is when you are submitting. Okay? So when I've drawn as architect, okay, and that's not a lot of money. People, sometimes even 20,000, even 30, because we have many architects, for instance. So the recurrent money I'm getting from the same project comes when I'm supervising during the development. Okay? But the challenge comes here now, when during the development, the government
doesn't make it mandatory
for me to be there. So will I get where will I get number one, experience? Okay. Number two, where will I get the income to help me be in the same industry for even 20 years? So when somebody begins in construction 2 years, 3 years, it's great. Because if we can get one person who has the certificate, okay, be able to just, so I design as an architect, I give to that person who has the certificate. He gives me the stamp. I take the county government. Which day will I, as a young architect, grow?
Interesting.
So those are the questions that really comes from board.
Okay. Interesting. That is a very insightful discussion. So we are taking a short break, but we will be back to discuss on how our guest today has become the voice of the voiceless engineers, right? So they are graduating from the university 7 years down the line. Then you come out here, you're not getting something to do. So from an entrepreneurial perspective, what can you do as a young graduate? So do not leave, take a sip of water, and then we will be back.
Thank you.
So viewers, welcome back to the show. And just to remind you, we were talking about entrepreneurship. So it's a youth perspective from the construction industry. So we have talked about how youths are who have done courses in engineering that are supposed to venture in this construction industry are facing hurdles. But all hope is not lost. We have a youth who is an entrepreneur. He owns remind me the name of your company. Jawabu Construction. Yeah, and this Jawabu Construction, you have done major constructions, right?
Yes.
Since 2017. Yes. Give us an example of a construction you have done. What is the biggest project you have undertaken?
Yes, the biggest project we have undertaken was an apartment building. It's found in Embu. Okay, it's a 4-story building. Okay, it's a 4-story building, and we had the BQ. The BQ cost was coming at 50 million.
Oh.
Yeah, so that is one of the major construction projects we're doing.
Now he's just making me rethink. Maybe I might join you in this industry. So it's something that we have not been thinking about, but after you talk about it, it makes us understand that actually we can venture in such. Yeah. So I understand that when registering a company for construction, there are different classes, right?
Yes.
Because you said you first register a company normally, and then you go. This is in Upper Hill. It's in Upper Hill. Yeah. So you register a company that will now limit you to construction. This is limiting you to construction. So could you kindly explain to us these classes?
Yeah. Once you register a company, okay, with the Sharia House, okay, you go to National Construction Authority, which in KCP Plaza, Upper Hill, and there you begin another process of registering. So based on your experience, on your financial capacity, on your technical knowledge, okay, you start from class 8. What class 8 means? It means that you can do a project up to certain value. For buildings around 10 million. For roads, I think it's around 20 million. Okay, so as years go, you do more project, you submit
you rise
them,
up the ladder.
You rise 7, 6, up to 1.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And do you choose if you want to do construction, if it is housing or it's roads, or it's just general?
It's not general. Okay, you can be given a license for the two. Okay, but there's a different license for even water. There's a difference for roads, and there's for building construction.
Oh, yeah. Could you kindly tell our viewers how much this would cost if you were to register such a company?
I think once you finish with the register, the it depends with your lawyer. But when you go to the National Construction Authority, okay, you normally start at NCA 8, okay, unless others. But I know everybody starts at NCA 8. If you're actually a young person, so NCA 8 costs around 5,000, and then 7,000 for the license, and 7,000 to renew every year. Yeah. So
renewing the license is 7K every year.
Yes.
So approximately, if it's registering a company at Sharia House, maybe 25,000, and then plus now 5
around
at
12. Then the other things you're supposed to get KRA. You're supposed to get the county government license. You must have it. So county government, they normally charge high, especially for us for license construction. There's some county guy you charge up to 60,000. Okay, yeah.
Really?
Okay. Yes. There's some county government, especially those others I don't want to mention, but they're really expensive. But in Nairobi, you can get between 30,000 and 50,000.
So if you have 50,000, you have everything.
Yes. Before you start.
So here, capital is 50,000, and then for personnel, you must have a technical personnel, and then say yourself if you have not done a background in this.
Yes.
Oh, that is manageable path for for entrepreneurs, right?
Yeah.
For upcoming entrepreneurs. Yes. So but we have policies that have been put in place, but that rather would affect these young entrepreneurs that we are trying to advise on how to go about it after you are done with school. So what are some of these policies that might hinder the smooth process?
Besides what I mentioned, I say in tendering process, if I'm gonna being compared with somebody in NCA class 1, There's somebody with a bank statement that has a turnover of up to $1 billion. Okay, but you see, when you're competing for this job, you're told, okay, it's just the same construction company. Okay, so he can compete the same opportunity with you. So as a startup, you don't have a chance. You actually don't have a chance because the system of evaluation is technical and other things. Yes, I know the government is trying through the AGPO, okay, and the other aspect, but as I say, the financing aspect of a project based on the government model still it becomes a challenge for many construction companies. Why? Number one, because the payment period is delayed. So I'm supposed to build this building up to a certain section, okay? Then I give my certificate to that level, then the payment is processed. Okay? So if I take, for example, if a project is a class 8 is a project is a maximum of 10 million. So I get a project of 10 million, and I have a delay in terms of getting the payment. It affects everything from my because if I'm gonna take it from bank or whatever, the interest rate is high. So I think the policy aspect, the government should be intentional and create a new
enabling
environment for this startup. Okay, can they provide a financing model, not free, just financing model that works best with the way government do business. Okay, because if you go to a commercial bank, the terms are the same. Okay, every time I delay this such, but if I can go and I take from a government bank or whatever, and I'm told, okay, I tell them, see what, I took this loan for this project, I've completed, but government is paying me after 7 months, so don't charge me interest.
Yeah,
because they're the same bodies. I know that is being of ambitious, but I know if there can be a system like that, other countries implement. Okay, you have a government guarantee for SMEs. Is there a government guarantee for startups? That is one thing that from policy aspect we can improve. And also, as I say, just to recap what I said is that in this process of building, let the government ensure that these professionals are actually participating by not only giving incentive but also giving penalties, okay, where the developers does not involve these people. That way the government itself benefit because you have created more opportunities. Okay, these people come, you're building the experience which you need in future year in building whatever you'll be building as a government. So, and even the client benefits, because some clients actually fall into, they don't understand. So okay, it's not that they're not willing, but they don't understand how this is important. But when it's government
makes it mandatory,
yeah, they'll understand this is important. So you really need to get an architect, you have to get a QS, you have to get a structure engineer, and they have to participate in the project. Yes.
And also another thing, maybe correct me if I'm not right, you talked about the classes whereby anyone, doesn't matter how long you have been in the industry, you compete for the same job opportunities. So probably the government should set delimitation in these classes that say class 8, only startups can participate in this.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Because if, for example, a government tenders, then someone who is in class A can still compete for this class 8 tender, right?
Yes.
Then from the policy perspective, then there needs to be that delimitation. Let the government just say those who are startups are the ones who have who can qualify for the tenders in class 8 up to say class 6. And then the rest can compete on the. Do you think that would also help?
Yes. Some institutions are trying to do that, but some are private. Okay, like some NGOs, they're really saying, this job is specifically for NC8, and they mean it. Okay, there's one thing to say, and
there is another thing.
Yeah, and again, as I say, the marking scheme in this case should be actually suited and say class 8. You can say, okay, you see the issues, the government can tell your partner, this is for NCA. Then they tell you, they need a bank statement that makes you, for a project 10 million, you must have a turnover of 10 million. Really? Where do you get that? You've just come from university, you only know how to build. That's your strength, your skill, you know your skill. You're confident on that. you graduated, you qualified on that. Okay, so you need some time to get money.
Yeah.
Okay, so the marking scheme
or the evaluation, that should be the evaluation criteria.
Yes,
like how long have you been in the market, the bank statements,
yes.
if you have done the same job, which projects are this, that one would work, right?
Yes.
Then you mentioned something about AGPO.
Yes.
If you could please expound to the viewers what AGPO is.
AGPO is it's a criteria, okay, the government put in place for youth. So you get an AGPO certificate for a youth. So that allows you, it was intended that once you have that certificate, you go on the tender, it gives you some advantage because you're youth. It is for youth and women actually. But that's not the case.
So
that is not the case. So it is a certificate, okay? It is a certificate for youths and women to obtain from the government, so that it gives them a qualification. It's
a leeway, like if you don't have the experience, then this one can in lieu of experience, then AGPO can be considered. But like there is age bracket for someone to get the AGPO certificate.
Yes. If you're over 35, you can get it.
Interesting.
But they will tell you that there are many challenges, that even that is not really a big thing. Yes, I can get a certificate AGPO, but
it won't help.
Yeah, if the criteria is that I need such and such amount of money, which I cannot get because I'm a youth. So what's the essence of that AGPO? So those I'm saying, it should be backed
by finances.
So whatever government is putting as criteria must be backed, okay, during the time of evaluation.
Yes.
Yeah, you cannot say this gives an advantage, but you go in there, the criteria already ensure that you don't have that advantage. So there should be, what they say and what they do, they should be the same thing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is to the policy makers, but to our young tax, as an entrepreneur, the way you just said, hope is not lost. You can always go the company way, and when you go the company way, your clientele, who is your clientele? Focus on the homeowners. Yeah, do not the way you did. You just decided, no, I'm not going for the government tenders, because really you're going to compete with the Chinese.
Yes. I think to the youths, what I'll say is very simple. Hope is not lost. We still need a lot of contractors. Okay? Because I think around 30,000, if I'm not wrong, the last time I checked on the contractor list, in a country with adults who are almost like 20 million. Okay? So those people need, so 30,000 for 20 million, it means there's something not working somewhere. So there is opportunity. Like,
you mean 30,000 contractors, as in companies? Yes, now companies. Yes. Those are many. Those are many. No,
for 20 million people, it's not many.
Okay.
It's not many. You still need more people. Okay. We still need more people because we still have more opportunities. The way, especially when the government is saying it's making mortgage available, okay, by trying to create it's called Kenya Mortgage Financing Corporation, which is trying to create to ensure that you have money to finance a mortgage at a lower rate for the first time homeowners. Then what that means that the opportunity as we go forward might be more than the available people to do the work. So there is hope, but the journey is tough. But that's life. Okay, that's life. You just have to stick in there and have a strong why. Why are you there? Do you have a mission? Okay. Are you because if you don't have that mission, in tough times you give up. But like for us, we want to ensure that every person who has a limited budget, okay, can get his dream home, okay, that is done professionally. Okay, and a construction company is the only way that you can get all these things together.
Yes.
A foreman alone cannot give you that kind of a touch. So for the people, for the youths who are getting out of universities, there is light at the end of the tunnel. Just stick in, hang in there,
Mm.
and things you'll see you see the light.
I won't add more, only reiterating on the point that life is tough, but we have to hang in there. So, dear viewers, you heard from the horses on mouth. If you need more information about joining this industry, and also if you need constructions, if you want to own a home, then here we have someone who is ready to do it for you at a pocket friendly price. So until next time, see you. And just to remind you, do not forget to watch, like, subscribe, and share. Bye bye.
Thank you.